everyone. My name is Dr. Hal Bradley. I would like to ask us, each and every one of you, that if you enjoyed these shows, please hit like, share, and subscribe after you view the show. Thank you very much.
Hey, everybody. I'm subbing in for Hal Bradley today. Dr. Hal Bradley, not feeling well, a little under the weather, but he said, Pete, I need you to come through, brother. I love you so much. Ha, ha, ha. Can you do the show for me today? And I said, I know exactly who to talk to. Someone's been on before. And we thought we'd bring Shannon Michelle back. Shannon is a friend of mine and has a wonderful story. Her story was captured earlier when her and Hal had an exchange talking about her motorcycle accident and the recovery from that. So I thought we might dive back in because it's been a while since you came on the show, Shannon, and you've had a lot. You continue to recover. So I guess give us a real quick taste of who you are, where you've been, but most importantly, land on how you've gotten better over, say, like the last 6 months from your incident.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm Shannon, and I am a survivor and a thriver post a very, very severe motorcycle accident, to the point where, from what I've been told, because it was so serious that the brain trauma, they had to keep me in a coma for a few months. But basically, I was hit illegally, U-turn, and thrown up in the air and crashed back down, from what I've been told in my head, which I don't remember, thankfully, and broken into all kinds of pieces. And then they drop shipped me to UCLA because they had to get me. I was on the verge of death, and they popped me into the hospital, and they kept me there for quite a few months. And they needed to keep me in a coma for a few months as well, because my brain, I think, was so swollen that they needed to calm it down a bit before they let me wake up. And also, like, every part of my body, not just the obvious eye patch, that's a little more obvious, but every part of my body, like new hips, everything broke. I crashed down and broke into many pieces. And so it has been, I would say, a very slow and steady pace to getting myself back, to getting the new, what I call the new me back, because I'm much different than I used to be. I call myself Shannon Michelle 1.0, Shannon Michelle 2.0. This is Shannon Michelle 2.0. And just, I needed to find a way to live my life differently and find humor within the pain. Almost, it has been a very bumpy road, and it has been a ton of recovery. At the same time, it's been a ton of sorrow and pain. So it's a combo of life, it's me finding the balance, I think, is the most important part.
As you deal with your relationships, they've all changed because you're Shannon 2.0 now, right? So you want to be left alone to be yourself, but also people care about you. And then you're also a new you, right? So everybody's kind of getting to know how you operate. And even like the jokes that are obvious jokes about your memory, you and I can make them because we've had those conversations and there's no hurt and malice in it, right? We're just kind of making light of a bad situation. But how has that evolved your relationship with your daughter, with her dad, with all your friends around you? It's one thing to get support, but sometimes you don't want the kind of support that's offered. And sometimes you need support in areas where people don't know to support you. Can you help us understand that vibe?
That's a great question. I've got to sit with that for a second. I have, I think, slowly been learning how to relate and communicate with others in a more universal way, because during my recovery, I was so, bless you. I was so centered on how I could mend and repair myself that my life was only about me, and not in a selfish way, but in a self-help kind of way. And I needed to learn that within my beautiful life, there's others, and those people's opinions and those people's perceptions and values also matter. And I had to learn how to almost like I was in the stage of just knowing how to receive, because I was so broken that and that was good for me. I needed to learn how to receive properly, but I had to find, again, another balance in communicating my needs versus somebody else's needs. And definitely within the realm of my daughter, who is now newly graduated from college and now is back at home and is finding her way. And as a mom, you want to point in all the right directions and be on the right, get them on the right path. And I have to just like sit back and be like, that is not, she's a young adult. I cannot communicate with her like she's a 10th grader or whatever, I have to remember she is a young adult. And so there's all the levels of trying to learn how to communicate in different ways that I probably would have had either way. But the funny part for me now is my short-term memory is limited. So sometimes I do things over and over, and she'll be like, she has to get used to the repetition to where, then my mom finally got it. I think she's learning how to get used to that part of the new me as well, is that I used to tell me something once and I'd retain it. Now it's a little messy up there, but I think I think I'm learning still how to communicate and more open-heartedly with others other than my self-care.
Yeah, when you and I talk, there are times when you will say something that we both know is related to your memory, but my instant Pete brain will let out like a frustrated sound, right? I'm not frustrated, but I am like in the first blanch of the thing, and then I'm like, this is fine. This is the pace we're working at, and everything's fine. And then it's like the better version of me, the adult version, the mature version of me takes over, right? But there's still that little demon inside of all of us that will, they'll let out the gas, and you're just like, oh. So I hope that stuff is not too verbal, that you don't catch it when I slip, because that's not the true representation of how I feel. But that is a real thing. It's a real challenge. And like anything in the modern world, like we deal with someone that has some pretty severe dementia, and there's a lot of frustration, and there's all kinds of guilt that go with it. And when you present that, when I miss being my best self, I'm like, God dang it, right?
It's hard,
and so I get disappointed in me, but you are capable of understanding that you receive that message. The demented person, she forgets and it's gone, right? Yeah. But how do you deal with those moments when the true representation of us gives way to the id?
I thankfully don't have to deal with that too much. And I can only say that within the realm of me having a limited amount of memory, and me also being so grateful for being alive and breathing and sitting here having this conversation with you. I don't, or I should say I try not to, because it's not like I don't, because it does happen, but I don't sit within self-doubt or self-anger. And I try to not take anything personally ever. And I know that I survived and thrived because I just sat with how to mend myself. And I know that all of us are sitting in a place, no matter what, where we're having a moment where we might feel disappointed, or for me, stupid sometimes. I mean, the obvious, like my brain still is on reboot. My brain is still relearning silly words. And I have to be kind with myself, not to get so frustrated that I can't read that sentence the proper way. I mean, that's a simple word. The frustration of not being able to write frustration, it's easy for us to go in, I think, circles of self-doubt and points of not understanding the whys and not understanding the similarities between people. But I think at least my goal is to always come from a place of everything in life is not about me. It's about whomever is doing it. So I personally try not to take anything in a bad way. I sit and I say what I say. And if I say it wrong, or I don't give a proper answer to a proper question, which happens all the time in this podcast little world I'm in, and I feel like I'm off kilter a bit, and you stick with that, you hang out with me, and I'm off kilter. I mean, I think that there's bravery in that.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely, there's bravery in that, and you know, we all have the guts to do something that's harder to do than to simply do nothing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. How boring would that be?
All of it.
How boring would your life be if you were just cycling over and over and over? I think that's where a lot of us get caught, is we cycle and we cycle and we cycle and we do repeats that really need to be that you're supposed to let go of. At least that, again, is another thing that I learned, is that, like, you've got to let go of the past. You've got to let go of the concept of the future. You have to stay right here, right in this moment, because that's the best place I can be. And if all of us could just be happy with where we sit today, it would be a much more joyful life, I think, for ourselves, if we were, you know, more comfortable with that.
Yeah, boy, that is great. I mean, that's a lot of great growth in yourself. How a lot of the people that I've talked to have had some kind of calamity happen, you know, and they end up blind or burned alive or whatever it is. A lot of them have had this theme of, I am a better person now. Before, the person I've become is so not that they were a bad person before, but there's a growth there. Have you experienced that?
Oh, huge leaps and bounds.
Okay.
I have, for me, I think my biggest, I have a lot of big gains, but the thing that came to me first when you said that is my ability to be vulnerable, which in my previous life, I was not a person that ever wanted to be vulnerable and did not want to be broken in all kinds of ways, physically, mentally. I wanted to have and set the course for a perfect life. And I was leading and I was doing, and what I didn't realize previous to my breakage is that I was not capable of, I was capable of giving. I was not very good at receiving. And you can't, again, find balance if you can't do both sides of that. That you end up, I think, on one side, if you're always caring, which is beautiful, but you're not knowing how to receive, then there's, again, an off balance of how you feel about yourself.
Yeah. There is a thing that I've learned through my experiences.
Tell me.
Particularly attuned because I was a spy, right? And I'm in somebody else's country, and the value of being a great guest, but also allowing someone else to be a great guest. These are two different things. Reciprocating the ability, like if one of my friends wants to support me and they're like, let me buy you lunch, I can just say, that'd be wonderful. Thank you. And that's it. You don't have to pull your credit card out and do a credit card fight or sneak. No, you can let them be a wonderful host and give them the opportunity to shine that day, and then be truly grateful for it. And that's something that I had to learn through all the tragedies and stuff that I saw, was that you can really be something special by just simply being willing to be helped, or to be loved, or expressed in some kind of positive way, like someone, like, I want to do this nice thing for you.
Let somebody care for you in small areas, right? Whatever version. Yeah. And it feels good. I mean, anything, isn't it, like, goes back to whatever brings you joy. Like that moment, you allowed that moment to bring you joy. You didn't have to, put up the boundaries or the blockage about how you can show up. You actually just received, and you do it in a graceful way. There's me for words.
Yeah. What has changed in your, so, I mean, you were on before with Hal, I don't know, about 6 months ago, and you were still just kind of getting out there.
Like
yeah, right. I mean, just think about, so Shannon and I both are on this. Go ahead.
Just you have a sense, like, I know that I talked to him, and I've been able to rewatch, and I think to myself, I was so not present, even though I was very present for where I was in my recovery. But me
Right.
even being able to like have a conversation, like a real conversation, and have it lead to a certain place, that didn't feel, at least it didn't feel like me before. And I'm talking with you right now, and I'm like, I feel like I'm a whole new person today, even from who I was when I spoke with him, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if it feels like that to you, but you know, it was, this has all been a new life for me. Breathing, walking, running, driving, talking on podcast, like all of it is new for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I still sit here in awe, like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an amazing transformation. And you're right. Like, I've watched you maintain, there's sometimes in a conversation we would talk and you would lose something that we had talked about.
Oh,
And
yes.
so the communication with you is challenging because, one, can't get frustrated because here we are. This is where we're at. And I need to help you. I need to adapt so I can help you adapt to the world.
Yes.
And that means that sometimes we have to have the same conversation 2, 3, 4, or 5 times, or some element of it. And you might actually forget, not just like, oh, I forgot.
I do.
But yeah. And you're like, oh, I didn't do that. I'm like, that's all right. I don't even need to say, oh, you forgot, because you know you forgot, right? And so we work on these things at the pace that you're capable of. And then I'm busy, right? But your ability to hold a more consistent conversation, and there is, as we've gotten to know each other even better, there's just a more clean channel for me. The non-spoken communication just has gotten so smoother, and which happens in any kind of relationship that you have with somebody.
I
But
agree.
there's just an elegance to how you talk now that you didn't have 6 months ago.
Absolutely. I would guess. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I don't know how it is to receive me in this stage, but I know that I can sit here today and think that must have been quite messy back then.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
still is, but
Sure.
out of kindness, I know I'm still in recovery, and I'm still developing and expanding and growing from all of my trauma. But I
Mhm.
also, I see the difference now. I can remember the difference now. The fact that I can remember how different I was tells me that even with my brain recovery, that's working better.
Yeah. 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 That's a lot. That's a lot of I'm thinking too, like, I often say at my best, this is what I try to do, and I probably fail more often than I realize, so let's say I'm about 50-50, for being at my best. But I also know that, like, at my best is that my physical best, my spiritual best, my overall best. What best are we talking about? And like with my leg, when I had it rebuilt and then the infection, that was a trial on me. And so various parts of me were not capable of being what I thought was my best, but I was doing my best as often, so there's all kinds of bests. Does that make any damn sense what I just said?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and again, it goes back to self-perception is the strength. That's where we build from. Like, you know, at least I woke up every day. Some days were good, some days were bad. Some moments for you in your history and your journey have been different and hard. And how you see yourself within each of them, I think, is what gives us all the inner strength to kind of keep going and building and expanding and moving through life,
Mhm.
pain, sorrow, disappointment. There's so much that we can allow ourselves to learn about ourselves that gives us
Mhm.
strength through trauma, through difficulty, through pain, right? Through any of that. The more that we can stay again within and listen to our hearts and listen to our bodies. And some days are more painful than others, and be okay with that, no matter how different it might be from yesterday or last week or last year. The comparison judgy person within us, that's the one that I think everybody should try to let go of. So quit self-judging yourself because you're different, because you're unique, because you're, in a good place, in a bad place. But again, we humans do that.
We do. So, and I guess the thing I'll ask you is for us. Well, let me back up. One more thing I want to ask you is in your book, and it's wonderful, and everybody here, here's the link for Shannon's book. Make sure you guys go down.
You do that.
There it is.
And I'm always so proud. Yeah. My daughter drew the cover. My daughter, Grace, who is now 23. She just turned 23. I have to think about it. So this is my book, and she drew the cover, Step Into Your Miracle. And I'm so proud of it. Like loads and loads of again, what growth comes out of trauma, you never know. Mm-hmm. What inspiration comes from something difficult, you never know. Allow yourself to feel it, be it, learn and grow and not judge, I think is a good road to travel down, right? So
go ahead.
No, I was saying the book, Step Into Your Miracle, because sometimes I don't forget the name now, but I think I'm learning how to communicate it.
Well, yeah, that's a wonderful thing. Yeah, so this is a different thing I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
We did this, the audiobook, which is going to be available any day now. The audiobook is available because you were able to use an adaptive service called 11 Labs. That's for anybody watching who's interested in this kind of thing. And it did a great job of capturing your voice. Now, we had to do some little minor edits here and there just to clean it up to where we're at. But also, Shannon believes in being very genuine and real with it. And so when you hear this thing, it sounds wonderful. It's amazing. And what a time we live in, all the adaptations. I mean, you walk around with sticky pads, so it's part of your memory, very much like Memento. You have to do these things. Are there other adaptations that are now part of your life that you're like, hey, this is great. This other problem doesn't exist because I have sticky notes. I have 11 Labs to record my voice or whatever it is.
I definitely like my go-tos that are really helpful for me to know who I am and what I do in a day is like I try to write everything in my phone and put it on a schedule, even if it's an inspirational thought that I don't want to forget. And then I literally do check marks on my phone that I completed something so that I know not that it was on my phone, not that it was in my schedule, but did I do it? And like that's been helpful for me. And it's very simple, but I can go back and I me tracking my life through my phone, just like when I was trying to recover, I would speak into my phone, which is how the book became. And then now I think my life is somewhat a little clearer for me because I put all the notes in my phone, not just notes, but my to-dos or how I'm feeling or how that made me feel. And so, yes, I would say that tracking my life more consistently has been helpful. And I've done that through my phone. I don't know what else.
Okay. Yeah. Well, either way, the ability to step into something as complex as recording an audiobook, doing it in a way that's really never been done before. I mean, other people probably have done this, but it's a very new technology.
I'm grateful for it. Yes.
Trying to manage 3 different people's schedules to get it done. And oh my gosh, different opinions. It's a lot. And so we got it done. And that alone, that's not that's a hard challenge just with people who don't have to adapt to anything. They just do the work, right? So it's already a hard thing. So hats off to you. What
I think it sounds good.
I think it sounds great. Yeah, absolutely. I want to wrap this up.
I'm so inspired that that's going to be offered as well. Like, because a lot of people today don't physically buy books. They don't, to read. is not the same. So, you know, you could download it, but for somebody to listen to it and really take it in and at the pace that they want to take it in at, you know, walking down the street or driving in their car or sitting in the morning, looking out at trees, whatever, like you will be able to now listen to me speak my story. And I'm blown away that it's even happened, even though it was a wish that I wanted. I mean, for me to be able to share through my voice. And I wasn't going to be able to sit and read chapters. I'm not there yet. I'm not physically, mentally at a point where I can achieve that, where it will make any sense. So the fact that we were able to create an AI version of me and it sound like me and it sound good. I mean, hello, like this is the beauty of the years that we live in now, because this would not have happened even 2 years ago.
That is saying a lot, right? Like that's really where we're at. Okay, so let's wrap this up. What is the big message you want to give to us today? And thanks for coming on and helping us out when Hal wasn't feeling well. And thanks for coming back and telling us your story. It is remarkable. And by the way, one of the things that Shannon left out, it wasn't just a massive brain injury. It wasn't just angels coming and rebooting her brain. Let me ask you that. Do you sometimes think, am I a crazy person? Did that actually happen? I know there's points in my life, there's memories of like, did I see that? And then the person I see who I was there with will say, did you think we really saw this thing? And I'm like, we really saw that because we both remember. But both of us, it's so improbable, so impossible that we have to like check with each other, make sure we're not crazy. So do you have that notion where you're like, did I really see these angels?
Oh yeah, no, I did see them. That's very clear. My experience mid-state, chapter 2, now I even know what chapter it is. I talk about when I was pretty much floating and I was received in such a beautiful way and kind of surrounded by white light and angels. And there are a reason, multiple obvious reasons that I'm alive today, but that I remember. Now, I can't remember my accident, which was in the same day probably, or the same week, or however you want to mix that up. But I remember that. And it's, again, still so clear. And I do have to re-sit with it sometimes and remember that place where I was in between and came back from. And it also is the thing that leaves me in a place with no fear about things, because I know I have been somewhere that most people have not. And I know there are lots of people, I believe, traumatic brain injury, near death, looking for words, near death experience people, or have similar stories. It's a place that you can't explain, but it's magical. And I sit with gratitude and know it has not faded away. And I'm grateful that it has not faded away. I share that with most in my book. So when you read or eventually listen, you will hear my story and you will hear the layers of my life. On top of all that, the thing I always forget too, breast cancer after all of that, and going to cancer. Like, you got to remember that one too, Shannon. So my book talks about that, how we sometimes go through so much trauma. We think our trauma is done for our lifetime. No, you basically, you can go through a lot, but until you realize staying present is the only way to live, trauma can continue to, show up in a way. And I had to learn that I wasn't done with learning and growing. And I have to remember to keep doing that so that I stay open to whatever can and is possible of happening. And those are probably messy words right now. So I don't know. Anyway, but yes.
All right. That's all right.
Okay.
I love it. Well, everybody, this is Shannon Michelle. Make sure that you go and check out her book. There is the link right there on Amazon, or you can just look. It's not hard. You guys know how to do this. Type in Shannon Michelle. Yeah, she's got a website. We'll put that link up for that real quick right here. The keywords here are step into your miracle, and Shannon Michelle. You will absolutely, it's the age of the internet. We all are, none of us are new to this, right? We all have it. And I'm going to put the link up right now for Step Into Your Miracle. Guess what the site is? It's stepintoyourmiracle.com. Right? Is this any of this a big shock? I know we're supposed to say these things, but let's get a little bit serious about all this stuff. Here we go.
Thank you.
Here's the link. Yeah, of course. I'm not mocking you talking about it. I'm mocking the fact that we have to do it, and I have to say it out loud. Like and subscribe Hal's channel. Go see what Shannon is doing. Give her book a read. You know what's great to do with books? Buy one for a friend because books make great gifts. Buy two. Start a book club. I know the author. I promise you, she wants to talk to you in your book club. So do that. All right, everybody.
I have. Bye.
Bye-bye. A prayer for health with Hal. Hopefully he gets better from his cold soon. He'll be back next week. Shannon, thank you. I'm PJ Turner. Love to see you guys all. Make sure you hit Hal on Facebook. That's the best place to find him. Yay. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Okay, folks. Well, that wraps up another episode today. And I'd like to take this moment to thank each and every one of you for taking your time to catch our show. Now, if you like these shows, I would ask that you would please hit like, share, and subscribe. It's so important to us that we get these messages out, and we understand that these are graphic, almost toxic interviews. But, this is the kind of impact that we feel is needed in order to make sure that people understand the significance of the problems that we are confronted within our own country and around the globe. So I'm going to say at this time that I love you all. God bless you all. Hasta luego, y vaya con Dios, and go Victors.